we got a new package that I've been waiting for. Can you guess what's in here? Let's open it up and see what we got. Just cut this open. I haven't taken anything out yet. Oh my gosh, look at that. Just look at that. It's a full case. This hasn't been opened yet. We're the first ones to open this and take a look at it. It looks like everything is intact. So let's go ahead one by one. Let's place them out and see how they look. So the first one that I see in here is Kuiil, and looks great. Very excited to have this guy in the collection. He hasn't come out yet in the vintage collection. I'm waiting on him. We know IG-11 is in the pipeline, but very excited to have him. And whoops, maybe these won't stand up. We're gonna have to see. Anyway, very happy to have him, and I'm very excited for him to enter the retro collection as well as the vintage collection, because in November, yep, you guessed it, we have the Mandalorian ship coming. So I am really excited to open that up for all you guys and have you guys see that. But until then, we're gonna have to wait and see what else they release. And this is the one that I've seen a lot of controversy on, because I have some of those star cases from, or I guess Figure Shield cases from Figure Shield, but this figure does not fit in there. So this is Baby Yoda. And also, if you notice with this figure, it's actually larger than the cases will allow. So you actually can't shut the case, and trying to do so may actually damage this figure. So this figure is just going to have to stay outside of one of those cases, but I actually have all of mine on display, just hanging out. They're not in any special cases because my setup is I can have 2 layers of the figures, and I just use kind of like a push pin. I know, don't cringe, but I just use a thumbtack that pushes it in, and then I hang this right there, and I can actually get 2 layers of action figures on my wall, and it's not too much of an issue. There's not a lot of weight pulling down on it, so I don't think it does any damage right here. But if you are concerned about it, they actually have a plastic backing on the figures. So this is the first time I've seen them actually do this to the retro collection. But if you notice the bubble on Grogu or Baby Yoda, I think it's labeled the child. You can't really see the card back on this one, but it's really, really cool. I'm glad to have this. Don't get me wrong, it looks massive, and it comes with a piece of sand, it comes with a frog, and a stand for this. But the figure itself is actually bigger than the Black Series figure, which, you know, it's just interesting. So we'll put him right there. Next up, we have Moff Gideon. So here is Moff Gideon, and I'm starting to notice this now. You can kind of see how they have the paper behind the figure. It's kind of blocking the color right there. And I know that there's a way you can kind of get underneath it and get some tweezers and pull that out. It's just disappointing. It doesn't look great. I wish they would have done something else, had it underneath them. I don't believe that they did it with the retro collection for Empire Strikes Back or A New Hope for those figures, but I'm just gonna have to suck it up and leave it in there. It's still gonna look great on the wall. He looks great, very Darth Vader-esque. He's got the vinyl cape, so I am very happy to have him in the retro collection. Next, we have Greef Karga, and oh my goodness, this does not look like Carl Weathers at all. It actually looks a little sun-faded to me. What do you guys think? I know there's a lot of controversy with this vintage collection figure because there's 2 versions of him. There's a Black Series and the vintage collection. And one figure, I think, for the Black Series is Season 1, and the figure for the vintage collection is Season 2, and he's wearing completely different outfits. And I don't know how I feel about that. It's just kind of there. It's a figure. I'm happy to have both of them in my collection, but this is obviously based off of the vintage collection line, and you can kind of tell it's the same outfit. He has a little bit of a vinyl cape, but it never really bothered me, so I'm okay with this version of that figure. Next up, we have IG-11, and this was probably my most anticipated figure, one that I was looking forward to the most. As you can see, IG-11, he looks pretty beefy. I never had any of the regular figures, like the original Kenner figures for Empire Strikes Back. So I never really had any disappointment or draw to that, or I noticed much of an IG-88, how they, work that figure. I think he looks great. I'm excited for him to be in the vintage collection. They kind of said he's in the pipeline, so I'm very excited to see him. Next, this is probably the most controversial or sought after or whatever you want to call it figure. You can go online, you can buy, if it's not a whole case, it's every other figure except for this one. And this is Cara Dune, or Cara Dune, however you want to pronounce it. And I'm very happy to have this in my collection. If you guys haven't noticed, we'll see if we can get a close-up of that. I have every other version of this figure that was released. So the Black Series in the black and red boxes, the Target exclusive credit collection line. I have the 3.75 vintage collection version, as well as the carbonized vintage collection version. And as far as I know, those are the 4 versions of the figure of Cara Dune that have been released in those lines. There's been Funko Pops and a whole bunch of other stuff, but that's all we have at this time. So this was the last version. Everyone was worried if they were going to cancel this or not. You can't even buy this on like Big Bad Toy Store or Entertainment Earth. For whatever reason, people were concerned and they went ahead and bought this up. And it is what it is. I'm very happy I got mine. These are all, I'm not opening any of these, by the way. These are going on the wall. So just a heads up, that's what I'm doing with all of these. So I'm happy to have her in the collection, but I'm not opening this one. If you guys were watching some of my older videos, you'll see that I already opened the regular vintage collection version of her. I love that figure, and that's the one that we're going to have on the Mandalorian's ship later on this year. Now, it's the double pack that we have, and there are no real differences with this Mandalorian figure. It's the Mandalorian, as you can see. If you've been following me on TikTok or Instagram, we've already opened up this figure and given a review. I absolutely love it. I think it's great. I've never had or opened up the classic Boba Fett figure, the rocket firing. I have a version of him, but that's about it. I am happy that I have my version of the Mandalorian. So maybe we'll do a diorama just of him on our ship whenever it arrives, if it arrives. So hopefully it does, but he's the only one that I'm opening right now. But I'm very happy to have him. That being said, we're doing giveaways this whole year on this channel. And you know what? We got an open Mandalorian right here. We have a sealed one, so why not have another giveaway? So guys, at 75, we are giving away the B1 Battle Droid for the Vintage Collection. But we're also giving away, at 100 subscribers, a Shadowless Squirtle and Shadowless Water Energy for the base set of Pokemon as well. But you know what? Let's sweeten that deal. When it comes to that time, when we get 100 subscribers, let's give away a Retro Collection Mandalorian. So go ahead, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. I'm Batkerm, and I'll see you in the next one. I hope you enjoyed this. Batkerm out.